So welcome to this video where I will show you how I use the different AIs and we'll see. I'm trying to show the range of different tasks that they can do. So at the moment I'm busy establishing a company for my side project and I need to register that company here in the UK, and so I'm going to use Perplexity, which is connected to the internet, to help me do that. And the reason I want to use Perplexity is because of its internet connection. It's going to look up the right ways to do that now. So it's going to use up-to-date information, it's going to summarize it, and it's going to help me do it. So I'm going to use this prompt. So all AIs need a prompt, as you know, and I've used a very simple one. Talk me through establishing a company in the UK. I don't want to use a third-party service to do it, and I don't want to make any mistakes. Take it step by step. I don't need to use the Pro function because it's a very straightforward requirement. If I wanted something more complicated, I could toggle this on, but I don't, so I'm just going to press go and see how it starts. So now it takes the prompt to the top and it does its thinking. You can see it's immediately searched the web, not using Google, using its own search engine to find answers. Then it's taken those answers and it's summarizing them for me here. And now I will be able to follow these steps. So we can start going through the steps. So I can bring up another tab and I can go to Companies House UK. Companies House UK. So that's the first place it told me to go to. Check availability of the name on the Companies House website. So that's where I would go. And I can find company information. So let's just go back here. This is giving me a high level set of steps. So choose a company name and it says check availability on the Companies House website. But it doesn't actually tell me how I do that on the website. So the first thing I'm going to do is go, tell me how to check. Just because I want to make absolutely sure I'm doing everything correctly. So visit the website, I've done that. Locate the name availability search tool. So I can't find that here, so I'm going to search for that. Name availability. Choose a company name. Check the company. Okay, cannot be the same as another company, so check the Companies House register. So we're getting somewhere. Okay, so let's the big AI company. Okay, so there's already a company called Big AI, so I wouldn't be able to use that. So that's interesting. So there you go. We've already made a step and I'll have to think of another name. Now, to go back to the list, next on it is decide on a registered office address. Well, okay, I might just use my home address this time. That's fine. Prepare required documents, memorandum of association and articles of association. Okay, so now I'm not entirely sure what those are. So the next step for me would be to the memorandum of association and articles of association. So I'm going to now learn more about these so I can think about step 3. So straight away, it's going to search again. This is Perplexity, so it's live. It will be always up to date. And the way this AI works is it's less likely to hallucinate because it's pulling it from sources that it finds, and it doesn't, its job is to find the right sources. So the software makers in this case are working hard to make sure that when it finds sources, it's also finding the right sources. So that's on the search side of their business and optimizing that. And then the AI side is the summarization, the part that's helping me here today. So now I can read about the Memorandum of Association. It is a document about the company, join the company, authenticated, contains the name and details, cannot be amended after, and is created by Companies House. Okay, so that tells me that that's absolutely something I've got to get right. And the Articles of Association, how the company is run, governed and owned, and legally binding. Okay, so all these other details I can go into later, so I make sure I fully understand them, and I can go through each of these points with the AI if I wanted to. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, companies can choose to adopt model articles in their entirety, use model articles with amendments, draft bespoke articles. Okay, so model articles, I think, means I can use ones that someone's already made. So I'm just going to check that. Model articles are standard default provisions that regulate how a company is run in the UK. Okay, so they automatically apply to companies upon... Okay, so that thing that I was unsure of is actually I can adopt a standard one, and that will be probably be sufficient because I'm not doing anything exotic in this company I'm trying to set up. So okay, I still need to go through all these details, make sure I understand them, because that's important to me that I understand everything I'm doing, but I can keep going on that. So now let's go back to the top and say, okay, Articles of Association. Okay, so I need to do the same with Articles of Association. Let's ask, so what were the Articles of Association again? How the company is run, governed and owned. Cover various aspects such as directors' powers and responsibility, shareholders' rights, decision-making processes, etc. Okay, so are there also model Okay, so that's the same. So model articles of association and of memorandum. Okay, that's great. So I'm probably going to use both of those. Okay, now let's go back to the top. And of course, if you were taking your own notes, you could copy and paste the relevant parts to somewhere else. You might have something up on your screen because you want to maybe make a checklist so that you've gone through this kind of thing and make sure you've not missed anything to your own personal satisfaction. I'm scrolling up and down just to help you can also copy and paste any of these into an adjacent tab with the same AI so that you don't lose your track record, so use your train of thought. So I'll just show you that now with the final piece. So gather personal information. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. I'll need my own information. There's no one else involved. Define company structure. So, okay, so I'm not sure on this one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open a new tab. And I'm going to say I've got to define my company structure to start my new company. Can you help me with all relevant considerations? Spelling mistakes don't really matter, but I'm trying to be tidy. I am in the UK because companies are different around the world, so I need to tell it that. So what did it say? The number of directors and shareholders and company type. Okay, so that's what it's told me in this list, which is fine. So now I've gone to this other search because I can put it just here. so it's easy to find. And now it's having a bit of a think. Might have to run this again. Software after all, sometimes it's not as snappy as you'd hope. And now let's look at the register. Select a standard industrial classification code. Okay, primary business activities. Okay, I know what they're going to be. Right, now go to the website, set it up, fill in the required information, upload the documents. Okay, so maybe I'll have to make those articles of memorandum, articles of association first, pay the fee, create the government gateway account, and wait for confirmation, register for taxes, open a business bank account, and start keeping records so that nobody. So that's interesting. So it puts at the end, start keeping records, because I've said I don't want to make any mistakes. So that's very helpful. This I don't think worked. So I'm going to Control A, copy that. I'm going to try again. There we go. Yeah. It's a bit funny sometimes, Perplexity. It takes, sometimes, I don't know why, it might be just my browser, but it takes a couple of ways to go. Okay, now it's answering this second query. So that's just showing you that if I wanted to stay here and do each thing in a new tab, I can, or I can just keep going. So here now it's telling me about company structures. Crucial, impact your taxes, liability, and future growth. Okay, so this is something I want to make sure it's careful, but I sort of knew that I was going to do a limited company, which you'll see from sole trader here, partnership here, limited company, limited liability partnership. I was aiming to do a limited company from the start, so that's just reminded me that that's what I'm going to do. It started to give me the considerations here. But what did it say? What was I slightly confused about? So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say number of directors and company type. Okay, so number of directors is 1, it's me. Shareholders is 1, it's me. Company type, okay, this is now giving me the options in the UK, and I know already that it's limited company. So I don't need to do much more in research here, so I can mentally at this stage tick that off. Right, so it looks like the next step is check the name, which I already showed you how I'm going to do, decide my address, probably my home address, get these documents together, and follow the rest of the steps. I'll leave it there. Hopefully that shows you how I can quickly use Perplexity to give me clear answers into a step-by-step process that I want to undertake this afternoon. Thank you.